An update now on a story we have been covering for months now. The sinking Windsor Park neighborhood in North Las Vegas. You can see a lot of the lots there sit empty. Dozens of families had moved out over the years. Tonight, there are impassioned pleas from the community to put money aside for the crumbling neighborhood by the city.
This as we get closer to learning the fate of a state Senate bill that would build new homes for the people living there. Fox 5's Mike Allen live in Windsor Park now to break down where those residents stand tonight. Mike?
John, Jacqueline, the city's budget did pass, but without any money set aside for Windsor Park, which, as you can see from the empty lots around me, is mostly deserted.
We've been through so much recently, and I don't know what could be more important than making sure that these families aren't continued to be upended and destabilized.
The president of the Las Vegas branch of the NAACP making a case Wednesday for the city of North Las Vegas to set aside money to help the people of Windsor Park.
We really hope that your budget reflects the needs of the families in Windsor Park.
The neighborhood was found to be sinking due to a process called subsidence in the early 90s, and thanks to a federal grant, residents were paid to move out. Most took advantage, but about 90 households stayed. In recent months, several of them have told Fox 5 the $100,000 they'd received from the city by moving away is just not enough. So they're staying where their homes have crumbling foundations and the streets get more cracked each year.
We really expected the city to take accountability, to understand that these families need justice, and they really dropped the ball.
The lack of funds allocated by the city to Windsor Park in this new budget disappointed Chandler Cooks, the secretary of the NAACP's Las Vegas branch, especially since he lives in that community. He's hopeful a new Senate bill would provide help for the neighborhood, but says it should start smaller than that.
But at the end of the day, this is a community in the city of North Las Vegas, and that council is responsible.
After hearing testimony about the budget, Mayor Pamela Goins-Brown said the city is still committed to helping the community.
They're kind of separate items, and so what we will work diligently on to come up with the best solution and continue to have conversations and work closely with our federal delegation about Windsor Park.
The NAACP tells Fox 5 the city should use the leftover funds it got from that grant it got from the federal government back in the 90s and put it toward Windsor Park and the new initiative to help the folks here. And that actually is a provision of the bill. Reporting live from Windsor Park in North Las Vegas, Mike Allen, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
In total, the Senate bill would require the city of North Las Vegas to pony up $20 million for the relocation of Windsor Park residents to newly built homes on a nearby plot of land. The state would provide $10 million, but the Senate has not voted on the bill yet.